Yes, blessed to have Joe, and equally blessed Crystal is coming on strong. And they do so much. She and Colleen, within the PD division, they have 8 events in 6 counties here throughout the year. 6 marches, 6 walks, 6 marches.
The march now.
The march, that's
for
right.
babies.
Correct me. I'll take that. Crystal will be happy you caught me there. 6 marches throughout the PD and here and in Georgetown, and then the big chef's event, and of course a very exciting community servant event.
And Greg, the walk's only 3 miles. It's not like it used to be. It used to be a lot longer than that. But it's only 3 miles. So our football team will be there, our players and our coaches.
Are they going to be walking
they're
tomorrow?
going to walk. And
Really?
Last year we had a big old offensive lineman that walked half of it, had his truck and took off. I said, don't be scamming.
Taking the keys away.
Don't be scamming somebody.
Yeah.
I said, I'm going to make sure y'all walk the whole thing this year.
Right. I'm wondering how you're going to do that.
Well, as we came back, I looked down there and I saw him in his truck at the red light. And he kind of looked away, and I pointed. I said, "I got you, boy."
Yeah.
So
I love it.
They'll be walking and helping with the punt, pass, and kick.
Share with viewers real quick about the punt, pass, and kick. Would my 5-year-old daughter be interested in that? Or is it just
she would love
boys?
it,
Really?
Because there was. I remember a little girl last year. I can't remember what age group it was, but it's like 5 and under, and then there's all the 6-year-olds, all the 7-year-olds, all the 8-year-olds. We have all those different categories. And it's just a lot of fun. It doesn't matter if you've never thrown a football or never kicked it or never punted it. You can do it that day in Brooks Stadium.
Right.
And just have a nice memory of doing that.
Absolutely.
And might even win a little prize.
Listen up. Prizes tomorrow. Another reason just to get out there. Of course, registration at 9. Crystal said a lot of folks will show up around 9:30. The walk kicking off punctually at 10. A little ceremony there. And, of course, again, so many tremendous sponsors. But volunteers drive it all, and volunteers wrap around the stories. The ambassador families have a tremendous role in helping to kick off the walk and being the face for the March of Dimes for so many walkers there.
What's impressive, Greg, is the volunteers come up with so many innovative ideas on how to raise funds, too.
Sure.
And I know I get a phone call constantly from a good friend of both of ours, Ken Hunter, who was a part of the ambassador family a few years ago. And his mind is working 1,000 miles an hour, and he comes up with so many great ideas about how to organize folks and come up with ways to raise money. And I don't know that people realize just how much goes on behind the scenes with those volunteers. And these are folks that aren't getting paid a dime, and they have busy lives and they have a lot of work to do in their own lives, but they continually come up with new ways to raise money and push that goal even higher every year.
Right. Speaking of lives, what was that like, Matt? Can you explain it? Just, over the 10 months, of course, the 45 days of the Columbia experience. But for 10 months, while your wife and daughter are in Nebraska.
It was kind of like, I guess, like when these guys coach a game, you have to play all 4 quarters. You get to a point where you just sort of put your head down and you go day to day. And there's going to be up days, there's going to be down days, but my wife and I resolved very early on in the process, and it had a lot to do with our faith, our faith in Christ and our core belief that, our job is not to start asking a lot of questions about why or, why did it happen to us. All that's going to do is sidetrack us. That's going to push us aside from what we have to do for Caroline. So we just focused in on each day, pushing forward, trying to be optimistic, looking at every possibility we could try to give her a better life. And, everything has worked out. We've been extremely blessed. It's been a true miracle. And it really, I think what it did is it helped us. We talk a lot about enabling your faith. And I think that's really was the key in our experiences. Everyone's got their faith, but sometimes they're never in a position to be forced to have to test it. And we were put in that position, and I feel like we tried to rise to that challenge. So, but there were a lot of positives that came out of it too. Our 5-year-old saw different parts of the country. She got to fly on an airplane for the first time. So you try to look at some of those little things that add more to life, and we've tried to focus on some of that too.
We think about that, and clearly the ability to be a part of that for everyone, not only the Coastal family, but everyone wrapping around, as you highlighted, Kingston Presbyterian, And I saw in that piece that Etty had done, and the Sun News Vitality did a great piece on you and the Chisholm family, and even highlighted you, I think, last Thursday as well. But a lot, so much that has to happen with other families outside of your immediate family that wrap around and support it. It's incredible.
The biggest advice that I could give to someone, and obviously we don't want the March of Dimes to be lost in this, because that's what we're here to talk about. But just, when you get up every day, take a look around you, because there's probably somebody that needs you in some way, shape, or form. It may be nothing more than just a smile and a pat on the back. Hey, keep going. You're going to be fine. Or it may be something where you have to provide some financial support or some organizational support. But there's always somebody, if you look close enough, that's not too far out of your sphere of life, that could probably use your help. And that would be my advice.
Someone's picking up the phone if they're just hearing about the march right now. They're thinking, this event's in 24 hours. How can I really be involved? How can I help? What are some of the things they want to say to their friends if they're picking up the phone and calling, or if they're sending out some emails? You highlighted a catchphrase earlier on. I've heard you say it before, and it really drives home that mission about the babies who can't help themselves. But what are some other things and even say that again? I mean, what are some things that folks should say if they're picking up the phone saying, I just found out about a March for Babies tomorrow. I want to be out there.
If you don't know a child that's been affected with a birth defect or a premature birth or anything, I know if your child hasn't, you know someone who's has.
Right.
So come and be a part of it. Come out, walk. Eat some donuts, drink some coffee.
Right, yeah.
Put your arm around somebody, give them a hug, and be there. Bring your child to punt, pass, and kick.
Right.
If you're an exercise freak, come walk 3 miles. You want to run it? Come run it.
Right,
Our little boy Jeb will compete with you. He wants to be the first one through.
The first one to start.
Yeah, last year he took off and he ran the thing, and Carrie Rosick, who's in charge of our facilities, was in the golf cart trying to lead the way, and she finally told Jeb, go on. and so he ran the thing to say he was first.
Right.
And so if you are a giving person, you want to help somebody's child, a friend, your own, or someone you hadn't even met yet, come on out. We'd love to have you be a part.
Absolutely. And that is,
big walk.
You were speaking from the
big march.
Yes, the big march for babies. We've seen some other ambassador families. If you sit back and think about your first year of getting involved, and we think about the Riley Saffels of the world, for a lot of folks who've seen these faces, they're now seeing Caroline and Jabrell. But over the years, Miles Pickett, families from both the Loris Walk and the Horry County Walk, but we think about, and now they've gotten a horseback ride for Riley. A lot of things wrapping around. So ambassador families really start out in a small fashion here and then ramp up. Of course, you highlighted Ken Hunter, and he'll be an ambassador member of the family for many, many years to come. And the impact of the March of Dimes. Crystal left something here from her interview on Wednesday. If your baby has ever received any vaccine to prevent polio, the March of Dimes has impacted you. If they ever got any surfactant therapy or went through those steps, the March of Dimes has impacted you. If your baby ever received any critical newborn testing. And for a lot of folks who don't have babies, they were a baby at one point. They have brothers, they have parents, they were babies. These steps are all impacted by the March of Dimes.
No question, and I know through our experience, the hospitals we were in, they're all struggling to get the kind of funding they want to be able to take their research and ramp it up to the next level. And these are the organizations they reach out to. They reach out to the March of Dimes and similar organizations for that extra push in funding that may not be coming from a private source or a public source. And it makes a big difference. I know it made a big difference for us. There's no question.
Absolutely. What are some of the things? I'm sure you've heard a lot of great ideas, fundraising ideas from some other teams that folks have talked about. If folks are, again, thinking about it right now, or even if they can't be there tomorrow and they say, I still want to be involved, I want to help out, I want to continue to raise some funds, what are some things that they may want to do? What are some fundraising techniques? Have you heard any creative ones?
I would say, the biggest way is to challenge your employer.
Right.
Wherever you work, challenge your supervisor, manager, what have you, that, hey, we need to get involved in this. Whether it's a coffee can by the lunch area or the break room, or something even more sophisticated, but get your employer energized. That's an easy place to start for anyone. Some of the other unique ideas have been utilizing area restaurants where for a period of time on a certain day they'll contribute part of their profits to the March of Dimes, and hopefully that'll drive more traffic, so it's a win-win.
Yes.
But it runs the gamut. We've talked about the car washes, bake sales, just basically anything that can bring people together, get them involved, and number one, create greater awareness. To find dollars at the same time.
Absolutely. Anything your players have been doing at all, Coach, or things over the last 5 years that you remember?
I know some of the schools will have like a blue jean day. You pay $1 to wear blue jeans.
Absolutely.
Pay $1 to wear shorts. Pay $1 to wear a hat.
Oh yeah, Wendy and Karen talked about a lot of those yesterday. Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, our schools got a big challenge down there with Forest Brook.
Right.
I think Forest Brook's one of the top schools in the state of South Carolina.
Number one in the state.
Number one in the state.
Like Coastal here, absolutely, in so many ways, yes.
So it's a
number
great
one
challenge.
in the state, and then of course PD Elementary, I think 5th in the state.
Right.
So those guys are going back and forth. Wendy was talking about that yesterday. Karen in an early stage there with Lakewood. But to hear about Linda Puckett and all those efforts, that the administrators and teachers, but to see the parents really wrap around it. Their kids are out there on the front line, but the parents have got to allow them to do that and have got to support it. They know that their children were babies at one time, and many of them had premature babies.
I think when you've got the young kids in the elementary schools involved, you're teaching them right there. Or a lot of times they'll teach us how important it is to care for others.
Absolutely.
I know our oldest, Rachel, just the other day in the car line where she's dropped off at school, had the bucket out and raised $200 there.
Come on.
I'm serious. Just in the car line, going through and dropping off children, and one person actually dropped a $100 bill in the bucket. So
no way.
Yeah, that was a 10, 15-minute exercise and $200 in the pot.
Well, if parents are walking out the door right now, they need to think about getting the bucket out. Today's a great day to do it. Matt, I'm sorry we've run out of time. Thanks so much for everything. Congratulations to you and Laura for having a healthy baby. Absolutely. And Caroline getting healthier every day, I'm sure. Absolutely. Coach Bennett, thanks so much again for your honorary chairmanship's role again. Stay tuned to more Carolina People with David Bennett and Matt Hogue coming up next. You may know these men. One of them is the voice of the Big South and the Chanticleers. One of the top coaches in the land. You probably didn't imagine you'd see him on a Friday morning sitting here getting teary-eyed, talking about babies. That's what we're sitting here about on a Friday morning. 3 men in a hotel lobby, highlighting a special day tomorrow, the March for Babies 2008, the Horry County March. Coastal Carolina University is the place. Registration 9 a.m. The walk kicks off at 10. A lot of fun, a lot of celebration that happens tomorrow. But there's not always a celebration when babies are born prematurely at 28 weeks and 1 pound, 4 ounces. The celebration's still occurring as a lot of parents get through that time and can now hear a healthy baby cry. It's a special one. Get out there tomorrow. Celebrate the March of Dimes of the March for Babies 2008, Coastal Carolina University. Thanks, guys.